Good morning and welcome. I have a Christmas wreath for you today. In today's crafting adventure, I'm going to show you step by step the wreath making process for this beautiful Christmas wreath DIY. We're going to be doing a deco mesh Christmas wreath today using the poof method. Let me show you how to make it. For today's project, we're going to be using an 18-inch wreath form. Now the reason why I've chosen the 18-inch wreath form is because of the size of the sign that we're going to be using today. Now if you see it, I place it against the 18-inch wreath form and I can still see the form all the way around. So once I add the deco mesh, I'm still going to have plenty of wreath all the way around once I place my sign. Now let me show you that in comparison to the 14-inch wreath form. Now this one looks much smaller. It's the 14-inch wreath form. Now see, if I put the sign over that, it completely covers from side to side. So for me, this sign is too big for this wreath form, but that's my personal opinion. You're also going to need 8 rolls of the dark emerald green mesh that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. This comes out of their everyday box and these are vacuum sealed. If you are going to use the 14-inch wreath form, you will need 6 rolls instead of 8. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners cut in half, and I've chosen to use green to match my base. Now I have 2 rolls of my mesh unwrapped. We're going to be using 2 rolls at a time. You can even use 3 rolls at a time with this method. Now normally you see the poof method done with either 10-inch or 21-inch mesh. This was my solution to using Dollar Tree's 6-inch mesh, was to use 2 at a time. So you want to take the ends and you want to scrunch them up. And it's better if they are side by side and not layered. Because if they're layered, when you go to open up your poofs after you attach them, it's going to be a lot harder for you to do so. If they're side by side, they come apart a lot easier. You just want to wrap a pipe cleaner around, get that nice and snug on the end. You don't want it to come loose. Okay, then we're going to attach it right here to one of the crossbars. Feed it from the front to the back. I give it a good twist or two. And then I pull those ends to the back and I pull them back through those pipe cleaners and twist them down again. I need to make sure that my end does not come loose while I'm working on it, and this way it's doubly tied down. And then if my pipe cleaners are too long, I just give a little trim and then I push those forward. Okay, now my mesh is nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. And now we're going to be measuring our poofs today at 8 inches, and you want to start to measure here where you attached it. You measure out to 8 inches. You pull both of them together, pinch, and add a pipe cleaner. Get it nice and taut. Now what I find makes things go by a little bit faster is if I measure about 4 or 5 times and add a pipe cleaner and then go and attach it to my wreath form. And then all you do is you take your pipe cleaners and we're going to be attaching it to the center bar. Now if you're working on a wreath form that has 4 bars, you'll have 2 in the center. You want to attach it to the 2 bars in the center. But because this only has 3, I'm only going to be attaching it here to the center bar. So just put your pipe cleaner on either side. Give a couple good twists. When I attach it to a single bar, I always trim my pipe cleaners down a little bit more. You could always cut your pipe cleaners into thirds when you're attaching it to a single bar instead of in half. It just makes it easier for me to work with the mesh and the ties if I use them at half. The shorter they are, the harder they are for me to work with, and I like to give my hands as much of a break in crafting as I can because I have arthritis. So you just attach it and then push over. Now you'll be putting about 9 to 10 poofs in each section, and 2 rolls of mesh should cover 2 sections on your wreath, and on the 18-inch wreath form it has 8 sections. And as you can see, it's getting nice and full. And then once I do a section, then I go back and I just separate my poofs. You just want to go in and just pull the 2 apart. Every time you do a poof, you're actually doing 2, so you might as well get the full benefit by pulling them apart. You don't have to fully open them up, but you do want to separate the 2. It'll just make your base that much thicker and fuller. Okay. I'm going to work on my base. I'll get a couple sections done and then I'll come back and let you see what it's looking like. Now I have the first 2 rolls on and it did cover 2 full sections. I was able to get a full 10 poofs per section. In fact, on the last one, I think I might have gotten an extra poof. I did go through and just separate my poofs. I didn't really work on opening them up. I just kind of pulled them apart. But as you can see, with just those 2 rolls, you get a nice thick base. If you want an even thicker or denser base, you can use 3 rolls at a time. I'm going to finish my base and then I'll be back and we'll move forward and decorate. I have my base complete and look at how thick and beautiful that looks. And with the poof method, you get little to no fraying, even with Dollar Tree Deco Mesh. I absolutely love this method. It's so quick and easy and gives you a beautiful base to work on. We are going to work on our bow now. I have 2 full-length pipe cleaners, my Easy Bow Maker. Now I pulled out 3 different ribbon to work with on our bow today. The first one is this one and it's 2.5 inches at 50 yards. I did pick this up from Kirkland and I love that neutral background and I love that shiny red deer with the little snowflakes like in the background. Then to accent that, I have a 2-inch black and red buffalo check. This one I got from Walmart. And then this one I also got from Walmart. It kind of ties the 2 together. You have reindeer on there, even a little moose. Those are done in the red and black buffalo check on a neutral background. So I think the 3 of these will look really cute and be really pretty to accent our wreath today. So I am going to start here with my 2.5-inch ribbon. And I'm not sure if I'm going to want long tails or not, so I'm going to give myself some long tails. I can always trim them shorter. I'm going to go about 10 inches here. Pinch and twist, and then come down through the 2 large dowel rods. Now on your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up. And as you come through to make your loops for your bow, the nice side should be facing down. And on this ribbon, I'm going to measure my loops at 5 inches, and I'm going to do 3 loops on each side at 5 inches. And now I'm going to move to my buffalo check. I'm going to measure my tails on this at 8 inches, pinch and twist. And on this ribbon, I'm going to measure my loops at 4 inches, and I'm going to do 2 loops on either side. And now I'm going to move on to my buffalo check reindeer ribbon here. And on this one, I'm also going to measure my tails at 8 inches. I'm going to pinch and twist. And with this ribbon, I'm going to measure my loops at 3 inches. And I'm going to do 2 on either side at 3 inches. Okay, now I have my 2 loops on either side at 3 inches. I'm going to add 1 more loop because I want like a center loop. And I'm going to measure it again at 3 inches. And then to get back to the other side, I'm going to come through the small dowel rod and the large dowel rod. That helps me keep that piece that I need on this side for my center loop. And then I can measure out my tails at 8 inches and cut. Now I do like the fact that you can play with your bow while it's in the bow maker before you tie it down. Make sure that everything is looking the way that you want. If you need to do some adjusting, you can do it while it's here. Just be careful not to pull too hard. Take a full-length pipe cleaner, lift up your ribbon on one side and slide it down until you get right next to the dowel rods. Lift up. I always pinch together, kind of push down my bow. You want to keep that nice and snug as you lift out because you need to keep it stacked properly. Check the front, make sure that little piece is on the side. So now my pipe cleaners are not long enough for me to get my bow onto my wreath, so I'm going to add another one, and I just lay that in the middle. Take the shorter, give a twist or two. And then you take one of the shorter and you just wrap it around one of the longer, and you do the same thing to the other side. This will fully secure your second pipe cleaner and give you plenty of pipe cleaner to get that attached to your wreath. And then when I fluff out my bow, I like to hold it right in the middle, so I will usually lift up my center loop there, put my thumb in, hold nice and strong, and then I can easily pull down my tails and open up my loops and fan them out. If you need to do any adjusting on your loops because they're not laying the way that you want, you need to go right down to where they're tied and open up and twist there to get them to lay the way that you want. Okay, so this is approximately what your bow should look like. I'll do my final adjusting and trim my tails once I get my bow onto my wreath. Now this is the sign we're using on our wreath today, Happy Holidays. I think it's really cute. I was just in Dollar Tree last week. They had another sign that was very similar, but it just says Happy Holidays. It has the same kind of Santa, a few different types of presents, but it was very similar. So if you can't find this one, you can also look for that one. They have, I think, 4 or 5 different designs that are this size and have that faux wood background. So choose whatever you can find in your store and the one that you like. To set this up to go onto our wreath, I removed the ribbon hanger here at the top, and I've taken some silver floral wire that I pick up at Dollar Tree, and I ran that through the hole and over the top and twisted in the back. So I'm going to use this here at the top to wire it onto my wreath. Now I don't like my signs to move once I get them on, so I usually attach additional pipe cleaners here on the bottom, and I attach them with some hot glue. So to make sure they're nice and sturdy, I like to put a piece of ribbon over the top. That just gives them extra security so they're not going to come off. If this wreath goes outside and it gets weather too hot or too cold, hot glue can fail. So that's why I have the floral wire. My sign's not going to fall off my wreath regardless of how hot or cold it's going to get outside. So this is all ready now to go onto the wreath. Now I like my signs to sit right up on top of my mesh. And for this one, I'm going to bring him down so that the base of his sign here is right at the bottom of the opening. I need a little extra space at the top for my bow because it's nice and big. So I'm going to have my bow, and then the tails are going to be spread out. So that's going to take care of the whole top section. Now to get my sign attached, you just want to take your pipe cleaners and your floral wire. You separate your mesh until you can get down to that wire frame, and you attach it to the wire frame. You can attach your sign anywhere on that wire frame that you need to get it to sit properly on your wreath. When you're done attaching, just make sure to trim and tuck your pipe cleaners and floral wire so you don't have anything sharp on the back of your wreath. My sign is on. It is nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. And I made sure to trim and tuck all of my ends so that there's nothing sharp on the back. And now I want to add my bow. And I want to add it right in the center at the very top. And I'm going to do the same thing. You just take those pipe cleaners, you feed it through the deco mesh until you can get to your wire frame, and you attach it to the wire frame in the back. I have my bow on, and I did trim my tails. I did have one piece left of my black and red, so I added another set of really long tails in the back. I trimmed them and gave all of my ends some dovetail, and I really like it. I love how it just spreads across the top and fills that in. I love the sign. It looks so cute. Now I want to add some other elements around the wreath. This guy's going to be nice and full, and that's why I went with just a solid neutral base. Now I found these really cute Christmas picks at Dollar Tree this year. I do have 3 of them for this wreath. And I love that they're on wire because it makes it really easy for you to bend them. Now I'm going to place one here on the side, one down here at the bottom, and then one on the other side. And to get these in, I'm just going to take this really long stem, and then I'm just going to feed it down through the deco mesh. Till I get it down to where I want it. And then you just kind of need to adjust your deco mesh around it a little bit to help kind of hide that main stem. And then you can bend your little baubles however you like. And then here on the back, I'm going to take that stem and I'm going to wire it down. You can also use zip ties, or you can use pipe cleaner. Either. You just want to attach that long wire down. Once you've got that attached and it's nice and secure, then you can just bend it and shape your little baubles however you like, and that baby is not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to, I cut a piece of pipe cleaner here, and I'm just going to wrap it around and attach it to the center bar. If you're using pipe cleaners or floral wire, you want to make sure to tuck those ends. Okay, and I'm going to do it in 2 places. I want to make sure this stays nice and secure. I have my 3 picks in, and I've adjusted them, and I'm happy with how they're looking. I have them coming up, out, away from the mesh, and I like that. Now I grabbed a package of bells, these little silver bells. I love it when a wreath that's on a front door has bells on it, especially at Christmas time, because it rings every time you open and close the front door. So we're going to be adding those. And to add these, you just need a pipe cleaner. And right here where you would hook it, you string your pipe cleaner through. Just pull it down to the center and then pinch and give it a couple twists. And then it's ready to go onto your wreath. You just feed the pipe cleaners through and attach it to the wire frame in the back. And then I also pulled these out, and I really like these. They're white. They do have a little bit of a ribbed pattern on there. And I picked these up in a multi-pack. It came with the soft pink or rose gold, and you get 12 pieces in a package. So I'm just going to be using the white, and there are 6. So I have 6 white bulbs and 6 bells, and I'm going to be attaching the balls the same way. Where you hang it, you just want to run a pipe cleaner through. And you need to test these ornaments that you get from Dollar Tree. Sometimes, yep, see that one, it's just going to pop off. If they're loose like that, just add a little bit of hot glue and put it back on and let it set up before you attach it to your wreath. You don't want those coming off once you get it onto your wreath form. Then just give a couple twists, and again, use the pipe cleaners to attach it to your wreath. Now when you go to attach your ornaments and your bells, remember you have 6 of each, and that's plenty to work your way around your wreath. You want to place some towards the center, some in the middle, and some near the outside of your wreath. That way, regardless of what direction they see your wreath, they're going to see something beautiful. And all you need to do is take the pipe cleaners and feed it down through the mesh when you find your positioning and attach it to the wreath form. Just make sure to trim and tuck those pipe cleaners. I have all my white Christmas ornaments and my bells in. I love that sound. I'm very happy with it so far, but I am not done yet. Now I have a stem of these small red poinsettias, and I also have a stem of the regular holly with the dark green leaves and those bright red berries. And I have cut each one into individual stems, and I've left them about 3 inches long so that it'll be easy to glue them in. Now the first thing you want to do is work with your placement. Go through and place it throughout the wreath. And I'm just going to alternate between the poinsettia and the holly as I move my way around the wreath. And then to glue these in, you just want to make sure that you get a good amount of hot glue on your stem. And then you nestle it right into the deco mesh. You want to make sure it gets good contact with the deco mesh so you don't have any issues of it coming out. And here you go. I have all of my florals glued in and I'm really pleased with the end result. As you can see, I just kind of alternated between the poinsettias and the holly. Very, very pretty. And I love that dark green background is peeking through. It gives that extra burst of color right where you need it. Well, I'm very pleased with the end result. I think all of the elements pulled the wreath together perfectly. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and show some love in the comments. This really does help support my channel. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. When the notification bell pops up, you're going to want to hit that too. That way YouTube will let you know when I upload new content. And I do add new content to my channel every week. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend with me. I really do appreciate it. You have a great day, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.